Hey, I'm Matthew with the Fine Press, and welcome to another installment of Creative People Are Weird. I want to talk for just a minute about ritual, and this is something that's very important to me. It's actually kind of been a philosophy of mine for the last few years. It's one of the reasons I started the Fine Press, and I think it's something that we all experience in some way, and may not really know that we're experiencing it. I don't necessarily want to place too much value on it. There are a lot of other reasons that people do things, but I think that this is a factor more often than maybe we realize. And it's this idea that, so my grandparents' generation and my parents' generation, the last two, grew up in, at least in America, in the age of convenience. Not that things were easy for them necessarily, but things became disposable and fast. You know, my grandparents' generation was kind of born into the Depression and learned how to make things last. And then after the war, we kind of reached this age of abundance and plastics and prosperity in America, where all of a sudden, if you want chicken, you go to the grocery store. You know, we're in Florida, so we go to Publix. But you go to the grocery store and you get boneless, skinless chicken breast, already like cut up and ready to go. You don't have to go out back and wring the chicken's neck anymore. Your laundry can just go into, in some cases, into one unit. You throw it in, set it, forget it, you walk away and it's done. We have lost a lot of the rituals in our lives, supposedly to free us up to find ourselves, to be the me we ought to be, you know? But I'm not sure that that's been the effect. I think in a lot of cases, what we as a whole have come to blame on video games and on television and on social media, all these, the lack of attention span that we have as a culture, I think a lot of that might be to blame for the idea that we don't practice the act of focusing on things for any period of time. You know, it used to be that you actually had to sharpen your pencil. I don't know when the last time I sharpened a pencil was. There are mechanical pencils, you know? But I've chosen to bring a couple rituals back into my life, and frankly, I'm kind of always on the lookout for more new, interesting things that I can do that slow me down. That's why, you know, I put a 3-inch steel blade to my face when I shave, you know? Yeah, it can hurt, and I've sliced a chunk of my cheek off before, but it causes me to slow down and think about my day. It takes me 15 or 20 minutes to shave. I can't do it in the shower with a 15-blade Gillette, whatever, you know, Mach a million. I have to slow down, and it gives me a chance to pause and think about the day and the things that are going on in my life. I write with fountain pens because it causes me to slow down when I write. Yeah, I can't take notes as fast as with something else, but do I need to? It gives me pause. And I think one of the other things that's really interesting, you know, my grandfather passed away a couple of years ago, and he was born into an Amish family. And as such, you know, he was part of a culture that kept everything. They'd repair things until there was nothing left to repair. And so stuff lasts a long time in these cultures. And you'd think that because of that, when he passed, there would have been a lot of stuff for us to go through. But the reality is he had left the Amish community and kind of lived like most Americans, and by the end of his life, there wasn't a whole lot left to hand down. And so I don't have a whole lot left of who my grandfather was. I've got, my father gave me this beautiful book that was from a really important moment in my grandfather's life, and I cherish it, but there's not a whole lot else. And I don't want that for my kids. I want them to have something to remember me by when I'm gone. And so now I have these objects, these razors and pens and other things that I do, this 100-year-old printing press that may be a burden to them someday, but at least they're going to remember me, you know? At least they have something to remember me by. And it's not that memories alone aren't enough, but we're a sentimental creature. And having those other things attached to it, to memories, I think is really important, the totems of our rituals. And so I'm interested to know what rituals you have in your life. What do you think about this as a philosophy? Frankly, it's kind of guided a lot of my decisions over the last few years. And it's something that I believe pretty strongly, but you may not. You may disagree, or you may have a different take on it. I'm really interested to hear. Comment below. Comment at finepress.com/weird. Let me know what you think, and please subscribe. Tell everybody you know, ask questions. I want to hear from you. Again, I'm Matthew with the Fine Press. This is Creative People Are Weird. I hope you're having a great day.